You guys are going to like this Bible study. I'm even going to love talking about it. Before I read from Exodus 19, that's Exodus 19, I want to talk to you about motorcycles. You guys would be surprised how motorcycles and the Bible do go together rather well. When I started doing motorcycle vlogging videos, I was surprised how they go together so well. It's just something about the Bible and the motorcycle. They really mesh together great. And that's sort of my theme of our channel. Well, let me tell you something about motorcycles, and it's actually going to then lead us into this Bible study. When you first start off with a motorcycle, you don't start off, I don't know anybody that starts off this way, but if they do, they're very brave. You don't start off with like 1,000 motorcycle, 1,000cc bike. The motor has different displacement to a different size motor, and the stronger the motor, of course, the more powerful it is, but with power comes responsibility, and you have to have the skill to handle that power. Most of us start off with like a 600, 500cc bike or a 250. I start off with the 250, and then of course I rode 600 motorcycles, and then the highest I have ridden is 1,000, and it has a lot of power. Recently I got a new bike. It's 1,000, Suzuki SV1000. When I went to pick it up, I met the buyer, and when they started up the motorcycle, it was like, blah, 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 blah. I mean, just the power of it, the way it sounded, a little bit intimidating. And then you have to get on the motorcycle, and you've never ridden it before, so you have this respect, you have to have this respect for your own safety of this motorcycle. Now, I know you're thinking, Shock, what the heck does this got to do with Exodus? Well, watch how I segue into this, you guys. And by the way, I hope you are doing excellent. I am blessed. You have to have respect. You and I, of course, have to have respect for God. If I'm going to respect a motorcycle that's got that much power, certainly I am going to give the utmost respect to God. But I hear a lot of folks talking about, oh, God this, God that. And I've been guilty of that too, jokingly. If I'm working on the computer and something funny happens, I'm like, oh, God, you're playing a joke on me again. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I love God. But I do have this respect for God. And it cracks me up, these atheists, pagan Wiccans, like these non-believers, how they are not afraid, they don't have that respect for God. So I want to read something to you where the Bible talks about people actually hearing God's voice and what happened to them. So let's hurry up. It says, let's go down here. Because I don't have a lot of time. God's talking to Moses, and he says, and Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. So they're getting ready for God to appear, right? So God's a holy, holy, holy God, and so they're sanctifying themselves, they're washing their clothes. And he said unto the people, this is Moses, be ready against the third day, come not as your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning, check this out, that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mountain, the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Notice, it's we recently had thunder over here. It was so loud, I'm like, first thing I'm thinking, you can tell it's like the modern year 2009. I'm like, a terrorist attack, it sounded like a bomb dropped. I never heard thunder so loud. And believe me, I was trembling. I was like, what the heck's that? Now look what happened. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. This is some scary stuff. And they stood at the nether part of the mount, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and in the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. It didn't just quake a little. So they're standing here, huge earthquake, the mountains quaking. It says, "And the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder. Moses spake," and it was, Moses spoke, but it's Moses spake in this translation, "and God answered him by a voice." Interesting. "And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, and on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish." You ever see now my mind's going blank. What is it? Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford, Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they couldn't look upon the law inside the ark by looking, what's inside the ark was supposed to be the Ten Commandments. So when you look upon the law, you're now recognizing your sin. God's standard is perfection. So that's why they didn't do the movie right. They should have consulted with me before they did it. But basically what happens is it was Aaron's rod that budded. And, well, I don't want to get sidetracked, but basically you get the idea. So what happens here, as God's speaking, it's not like, I'm speaking. It's terrifying. It's like, this is a horrible analogy, but you know how, like, when I saw that motorcycle, I mean, multiply this by millions upon millions, just the power of it. And God spoke all these words saying, "I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Now, this wasn't a suggestion, my friends. This is a commandment. "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation of them that hate me." Notice, by people worshiping other gods, false gods and stuff, God, the true God of the Bible, he looks at that, and I agree with them, obviously, that those people hate him. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Now, he goes through this, and he talks about not committing adultery, stealing, murdering, lying, and watch this. Now, the people, they can't take it anymore. They are so afraid by the sound of God's voice, terrified of his voice, okay? Just the power of it. Look what they say. And also the thunderings and all that, they are just terrified. "And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off." They're like, "We're getting out of here. We are getting out of here." Just the power of it. "And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us." This is you can't blame the people. Listen what they ask. They tell Moses, notice they're speaking to Moses, "Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not God speak with us." Look at this. I got to move the camera in. Look at the power of God, lest we die. That's how powerful God's voice and his presence was there. Just the sound of it. "And Moses said unto the people," and this is wisdom upon wisdom, "Fear not, for God has come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that" what? "That you sin not." It is good that we have this respect for this power. These people that say, "Well, when I meet God, I'm going to tell him a thing or two. Why does this or why is that?" Listen, you ain't going to tell him nothing. You either going to bow now or you're going to bow later. But listen, everybody's going to bow. I choose to bow now. God bless you guys. Have a great week.